So I think one of the things that's so special about this group is that we actually have the direct voices of all the artists in each of the books, in the recordings, in the videos. This is an opportunity really to let your thoughts be recorded for all of these different things of your artist's life. It's not just about the object, ultimately. There's a lot more that will help people understand what you were doing and why. So I think that it'd be great if we had a half dozen or a dozen of the artists writing about what they were doing in relationship with the others in the group, alongside, in parallel, or how their experiences contrasted with what others actually lived during this period. I think great, and something to add, into a book in the future, especially once we're, in this century in our focus. It'd be great. So, speaking of what everyone is doing, how about if we kind of go around and start talking a little bit about what's going on, because it's been a few months since we've been together. And I think it's easiest. I know everyone's got different screen distribution of images, but Mary, I think you were the first person I let into the room. So why don't you start?
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. I'm going to have to rush off a little bit. I got a little grant to work at Youth Spirit Artworks. So tomorrow is our big art sale. And I put the poster that was designed by one of the young teachers they're called senior artists, in the chat. So I'm wrapping that up. I've been doing it for a year. It's been really fun and lots of youth energy. So that's what I've been up to.
Great. And you survived COVID.
Oh, that's right. And I got COVID in May and I'm okay. And I used a lot of vitamins. I didn't do the Prextol, didn't seem to help. But so if anybody wants a list of the vitamins I use, email them to me.
Our other COVID.
I will, Elizabeth, I'll put it in the list right now.
Yeah.
Next, shall I choose somebody or you just go ahead with whoever came in?
Sharon?
Hi, sorry that you're sick, Elizabeth. I just realized, so that's why you wanted chicken soup. I've been working, I just came back from Kala. I've been working on a project that was a big grant for me. It was a Creative Work Fund grant. To work in this community I've been working in for a very long time, AIDS community, but with long-term survivors that live in residence where they've been living for a long time. And when COVID happened, we got the grant right before COVID. When COVID happened, we weren't allowed in the building. And I'm still not allowed in the building, but I'm doing the project with a colleague who's also a long-term survivor of AIDS. She's a wonderful principal, Nancy Lemoyne. So, and she's had a lot of health problems. So when we can get to Kala, we work on this project. So we're working on number 3, and we were going to work on number 4 and actually photograph the 4th person today at Kala. And that person was in the emergency room all night. So this project has been going on since we got the grant in 2020 and the beginning of 2020, and it was supposed to be done by now, and we're just getting started. There's supposed to be 12 images of people talking about their love and service for community who are very disabled, long-term survivors of AIDS, and old friends. And yeah, it's just taking a really long time. So that's one of the things I'm working on. I'm also, we're getting ready to go back to school at 3 of the schools I work at. So just writing syllabi and yeah, working with grad students. It's a lot. So anyway, but it's great to be in this meeting and see everybody who I don't get to see very much. So it's great. Thanks.
Well, it's amazing to witness the perseverance that is demanded of you with this kind of a project. So that's to be lauded.
You know, I've been working in that community since the mid 80s. Like, you just have to, you can't really plan on anything, you know, you just kind of, you just go with the flow. Yeah.
I gotta leave. I'm sorry.
Oh, Curtis, why
Yeah.
don't you give us like 1 minute before you go?
Oh, okay. Well, I had the show at Mercury 20 Gallery, which some of you saw, and I was thrilled with it. And I did a really good video, or Peter did a good video of me talking about my work, and I'm just wondering if I could just send that, you know, I mean, I've sent it around and people really, really like it. So I'm talking about process, and I'm talking about how I make things and what I do with my photographs. And also on Tuesday, I gave a lecture at the San Leandro Art Association about my process, and there were about 25 slides, and it was really great. I really like teaching, you know, and I'd love to give that lecture again, because people came up and said they learned so much. And I talked about 8 different techniques I used and had illustrations of each one of them. And I don't know, I'm just eager to do it again. So anyway, if anybody can imagine a place I could do it, just let me know. So I need to go because we're slicking up the condo for the new tenants. And
I want to say it was a beautiful show.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Elizabeth.
It was.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'll,
Take care. Good seeing you.
thank you.
Take care.
Great to see you.
Thank
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. So I'm seeing Leah as the next person who entered into this.
Okay.
room.
All right. Well, I've just been working in the studio, not a lot of days, but some days of the week, and working on my plant fiber work, which is very different from my other work. And just working sort of small scale, very slow, and enjoying it. But all my other stuff is medical. I have thousands of medical issues and see lots of doctors and get lots of treatments, and I don't know. It's just annoying to have to spend so much time doing it, but if you don't do it, you know, you have to do it, basically. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I take walks every day. And we have 2 dogs, and we have a brand new puppy. Well, it's about a year old, but it takes a lot of work. So my husband is constantly working with the puppy. So that's it.
I can sympathize because I've been dog sitting for 2 months.
You're a dog sitter?
Well, my son's COVID dog for puppy for the grandkids. Yeah. And I know it's just like all of a sudden it's like one walk after the next after the next.
Yeah. And you're supposed to live longer if you have a dog to pet, according to my cardiologist. You're supposed to live 5 years longer. It's like, but not when they're jumping all over. It's really hard, but yeah.
Well, if you have 3 dogs, you live 15 years longer.
No, I don't think so.
The answer is yes.
Only in dog years.
Yeah, that's it, dog years.
Well, Kim, what have you been up to?
Yeah, my big project is this book that I'm putting together for myself. 40 years of my painting. And so I started, I just did not know how to do this. So I got paper, and I have put together, and I got images of a whole bunch of pieces, and I put them in a file. I've got these files with these images, these little small images in there. And now I've gotten to the point where I have a scrapbook. And that's what I have. But it's a hard copy, and it makes more sense to me. So, and of course, a lot of thoughts have gone into, oh, I don't want this, I want that, I want another, so on and so forth. And I do have a writer. Peter Frank is going to write for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's great. And so what I'm thinking about, and I put out a note to everybody just because I'm looking for someone who's done it. I'm thinking about an e-flip book. And I've begun to do the research. How do you do, what platform do you do to use this? What do you need to put together? I can't go from a hard copy to an e-flip book. All right, what do I need? Do I need a PDF? Can I use a PowerPoint? All of these steps I'm researching. And that's the plan, is to make the next step is to an e-flip book, which is just it's just an online thing that sits there and then turns the pages and you see the spread, which of course you can see in different ways too, but I can, anyway, that's going to be my next step. Before I do a hard copy. A lot more expense involved with the hard copy, as everybody knows. But so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. And it's really been great. And all of it is motivated by this process that you're putting together, that you've helped us, that you're, really, that we're doing as a group. I would have been really, I don't think it would have come to me to do that until until we did this. But now this big step it's very exciting for me, very exciting.
Great. That's
That's going to take my time for my plan. Here's the plan. I'll tell you now. And then if I don't make it, I don't make it. My plan is to have it by the time I'm 75. And that's January 2024.
Oh, you'll have it done long before that.
That's the plan. I like to give myself enough time to be successful. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think you'll have it done long before that. So Elizabeth, do you feel like talking, or do you want us just to look at you for a while?
I can talk, but I may start coughing. Yes, I returned from Canada yesterday thinking I was COVID free, but this morning I woke up not feeling so well and tested. And yes, it was 5 days after my husband contracted it. And he's still in Vancouver, isolating in a hotel room that he cannot leave.
Oh,
How awful. So I'm scrambling to get the wild side situated and uninstalled with a team of volunteers so I don't have to, infect anybody. But I'm feeling okay, just kind of tired, and it's like right here. Thank goodness it isn't a potential death sentence now. And my son-in-law is picking up my Paxlovid for me.
Oh.
So in good shape. Yeah, but this year has been a wild ride in terms of curatorial work for me. I've curated 3.5 shows.
Ooh.
And thanks to Northern California Women's Caucus for Art and Abrams Claghorn Gallery, it's been a wonderful experience. I never thought I would do this or enjoy it so much. And for me, the fun is in it being a group sport. And it's been extraordinarily satisfying in reaching out to all of you and my various groups and getting them all intermingled. That's been so satisfying. I continue to work on my water series. That's kind of more private these days, but you'll see more of it in the coming months, I hope. I'm going to take a little break from the next curatorial project, which will be 2023, and have just loved being influenced and inspired by all of you. This in particular, the BAWALP project has been very important and gives me a lot of perspective. And for instance, our cross-country or cross-continent trip in Canada recently. We started out in Montreal, then we were in Toronto. And until yesterday, I was in Vancouver. I went to every major museum or gallery in those cities. And it was really interesting to see how women, Indigenous communities are represented, especially in Canada, where they're working very hard to ground all of their exhibitions with women's work and Indigenous work. In so much as even in some of the classical collections, they're juxtaposing new works with the older classical and works of the canon. And that was really, really exciting and inspiring. And the exhibit in Vancouver is called Uninvited. It's about all the women artists of the past century, especially in contrast to the group of 7 Canadian artists. And it was very moving and made me think of us a lot.
Well, welcome home. I hope you get better soon.
Thank you. Paxlovid's on its way.
Linda, you want to take the mic?
Okay, sure. Yeah, boy, COVID is, seems like now we aren't even, I mean, we don't have to wear masks. So I still do when I go into stores. So yeah, but it seems like it's really changing. But yeah, getting that Paxlovid, I think that's really going to be great if I do get it. I mean, so far, my husband and I haven't gotten it, but I do have a lot of friends who have gotten it recently. So yeah, fingers crossed. Let's see, this summer, I think of it as art research, but I went with my 3 friends. We have a walking group, and we went up to Crescent City and went hiking in the new Grove of Titans that's at Jedediah Smith State Park. And I couldn't believe how many people were on the trail and are traveling, because they are just so ready to get out and to go. Even it doesn't even matter that the gas prices were high. So we were lucky that we got not what we had. Usually we rent like a house or something, or a cabin, but so we got these 2 motel rooms, motel trees, but it was just wonderful. And, you know, I always take a lot of pictures. So this is, yeah, fabulous. And yeah, and then we went to Prairie Creek in Redwood National Park. So that was really the highlight of my summer. And also being in the show that Elizabeth was one of the curators, so or the jurors maybe, or a curator. So that was really a fun experience. And you did so many extra things of, you know, just at the opening and interviewing different people and giving a very nice introductory speech. And yeah, it's been going on for a long time. So thank you so much for that. And the other thing was I had a show of my work in our local Mendocino County in Ukiah, which I don't know if I talked about, at the Corner Gallery. And it was actually a wonderful experience. And I even sold some work and was, you know, met a lot of local people that I had heard of, but hadn't really met, and talked about local issues. So that was wonderful. And yeah, very different flavor from showing in other places. And yeah, looking forward to, you know, showing some more, of course, and entering different gallery, you know, exhibitions if possible. And I also like to, I'm part of Eco Art Space, so I don't know if anybody else is here, but they have a lot of really good Zoom programs where they get experts on environmental artists who are working, say, with water or with trees or, you know, land art. So I really recommend people to visit their site and see about it. And
Can you put it
like
in the chat? Can you put it in the chat, the name?
yeah, sure, I will.
Is
And
that
that's
Patricia Watts's organization?
But yes, Trisha Watt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really growing. She is just doing a lot and is including lots of people. So I'll put it in the chat of how people could go there and see it. That's about it.
Thank you. Sass.
Hi. Well, Kim didn't mention this, but Kim and I are part of a group of 4 artists who, and I know Kim and I are inspired by what happens in BAWALP. We put together an exhibition proposal for the 4 of us, and we sent it around. And because one of us is a book designer, that's Irene Imfeld, a wonderful photographer, and Joel Jones is the other artist. And we put our proposal in a book form. We each had like 6 pages of photographs in it. We did the writing, we condensed it because we know people don't like to read much. It was a beautiful booklet. We sent it out in the mail, and we got a response from the Richmond Arts Center, and they're giving us a show in their big gallery next September.
Right.
They're going to curate the show and all of that. So we haven't begun any of that, but that is something to be thinking about, now. And part of the idea is, I think, as older women artists who have continued to work and have, work from, the name of the show is Secret Orders from the Heart, that the work comes from the psyche. So we're very excited about that in the future. Yeah. And I've been devoting all my time to painting these lily paintings. Many of them are black lilies. This one behind me happens to be white. And you can't see it, but it has a mandala of skulls all around it. So I think the pandemic has brought me to painting black lilies and skulls. And the painting I'm working on now has a kind of apparition in it. And I thought she was going to be a kind of angel, but she turned out to be very angry. And she's got a mouth like a Francis Bacon painting on her that's just kind of like a scream. And somebody said to me, well, what are you angry at? And besides the world situation, I said, I'm angry at the Supreme Court,
Yeah.
Anyway, basically, that's not what I have been expressing in my art. So I thought it was very interesting to come to this feeling of, conflict and anger and wanting something to do about it. And my painting is it's the impulse that gets me up every day. I'm so involved in it, that and my garden. So, and my kids are taking me to the Venice Biennale in November.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's, yeah.
Jean, would you like to get on the mic?
Let's see.
You're on. We hear you. Now you're muted.
Muted.
Oh,
Hi.
how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to run, so thank you for letting me just say hello to everyone. And again, my heart is just warm and full to know that I'm part of a wonderful group of women. It's been a struggle for me for my health, and like Leah, I find that the healing process is an incredible art form. And through that process, a lot of wonderful new images have come out. And even the density and kind of the opaqueness of my work now has gone to very more layers and transparencies. And I'm adding a lot of light other than color being light, of course. So everything's really, it's manifested in a very wonderful way. It was great, Elizabeth, what you did with the wild side. And it was the first show I've been in that wasn't textile oriented. So, most people in my pond, know me as an artware. So this was wonderful to exhibit my paperwork, is what I'm doing now because of my capabilities. I just love working not with very heavy dyed wool. So anyway, I'm having a blast. It's a wonderful world, and my husband and I are both COVID free, and I just wish us all a great journey in this. It's very challenging where we are right now. So we're all faced with a wonderful chapter, I think, of rebirth. Yeah. Thank you. Great to see you all. Have a great summer. I gotta run. Okay, bye.
Lulu. Lulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do I do?
You don't have to do anything. You can just tell us what you've been up to, how your summer's been.
Do you see me?
We see you.
We can see you.
Okay, I don't see me. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank Elizabeth for that, for being invited to the Wild Show. And I thought going to the opening, it was just like old times. It was like being the early days when the only shows we had were women's shows because we kind of did it ourselves. But the show was such an eclectic mix, and it was just it was really great. I loved the opening, but you did so much work. Where I don't know if Elizabeth, she's still here.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful show. I had cataract surgery June 15th, both eyes, and I was seeing a lot of yellow. And when I got out, came home, everything in my studio was so white. It was like cheap wedding dress white. Everything that was white, even a little highlight in a painting would be bouncing off. And it's taken quite a while to get. Today I picked up my new glasses. And so I chose far vision. So for the first time in my life, I can see across the room, out the window, down the street. And but you have to make a choice whether you're doing close up or far. And I chose far. And so the close-ups, I've had to wear these little computer glasses and readers and back and forth. And it makes you kind of seasick to paint because I can stand back and I can see the painting, but I can't see to mix the paint. You know, so now finally I have to have one part adjusted, but it's amazing to be able to see that like I've never seen before.
Imagine if Cezanne had cataract surgery.
A lot of artists.
You needed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the artist? Albright? Ivan
Yes.
Albright?
Yeah.
He really had a problem with, detail. But the big problem is I walk around my studio and I see every speck of dirt and its details are really, really amazing. So I'm finally finishing a painting I've had on my wall for 3 years, my Flora. And I finally have the lenses. I can work on that tomorrow. I have one cloud to finish and then it's done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just trying to get back in to working. And I think I've had some slight depression all through COVID. But I like being alone in my studio and be left alone. But there's a certain point where it gets a little old. I think I've done about 3,000 jigsaw puzzles on my iPad. That's my default, whatever.
Well, I know
Anyway,
it's not consolation, but half the country has been depressed for the last 2.5 years.
Right.
So I just want to say that we've got our little time signal that's come up. So
I'm done.
I want everyone to be able to talk with everyone. So we'll do a short return after this when we go out of time. So don't be startled.
That's all I have.
Okay, Sally.
Well, it's been a really sort of outside, focus this summer. We went for a Weir family reunion, Shane's family in England. And we had to, plan that, and we brought our son and daughter and one each grandchild. So there were 6 of us traveling together, and it was pretty intense, and in many ways a wonderful sort of, rejoining the warmth of a family. And there were newborns and toddlers and other nephews and nieces and people to see, old friends. So it was really a beautiful experience, but it wasn't an inward one at all. But we did see an amazing surrealist show at the Tate Modern. We spent a day in London only, but that was what we did, and it was really wonderful, inspiring. I've always been an idea person, and when my work was burned, I have to say again, this BAWALP project has really helped me immensely, because when things are out of sight, they're kind of out of mind, and I forget, all the different places I've been in my work. And so getting back to it now I have a studio, there's place for it. The only problem is getting there. It's up in Sonoma County, but I'm in a kind of pause mode. It was just 2 weeks ago we got back, so we're getting over jet lag and stuff like that. But I'm just interested to see which direction I will take. I started just trying to relearn painting, or just painting again, things that I saw, but I do have another way of witnessing the world that is maybe a little more idea bound, and so I want to find that path again. I'm not sure where it's going, so I have to say I'm a little bit depressed too, just because it's like a hiatus, and now I have to leap in one direction or another, but I'll find my way, I'm sure. I'll just keep on till I do. So that's it. Looking forward to seeing the 80s come back alive. And it's great having all of you to sort of ricochet off of or whatever it is we do in these meetings. So onward.
Liz. Liz,
Yeah.
we've waited a long time to find out what happened to your arm.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I had my right foot up on my kitchen counter in my workout shoe, and I was stretching forward for my hamstring, and I turned to go to the left, and my shoe stuck to the counter, and I went all the way over with all my weight on my wrist, and I broke it.
Yeah.
But it was,
Sorry.
didn't go all the way through. Luckily, my acupuncturist was coming, because I would have just waited and, it was like, oh, it's probably sprained. But he took me to the ER. He said, you need an x-ray. So I got in there right away, and it'll be a month, and it comes off a week from Monday. Been very challenging. I'm super right-handed. My husband's, thank God for Phil. He's had to do so much. I'm only allowed to lift a coffee cup with no coffee in it. And it's been very interesting, very interesting. So anyway, that's been going on. I wanted to mention for Lulu, I got cataracts done lenses a few years ago, and apparently with some people, not just a few, you get a little membrane growing on the inside. So right now I have a blurry right eye and a sharp left eye, and next week she'll laser that membrane off again. So this is challenging when you get older, little things happen. I was actually thrilled that my fall on my wrist was not an old lady fall. Anybody whose foot stuck would have fallen over. But other things I'm doing, I'm getting ready for my solo show at Mercury 20 in October. It's called Mark My Words. It's more of my pieces where I do ink on handmade paper, and the words kind of all fit together, stick together, make shapes. And they're kind of sayings, and sometimes they go two ways, like has been, had, or things like that. And most of them are small, and then, but not all. And there'll also be neon in the show, 2 neon pieces, my first neon pieces. So I'm doing a Lulu book for the show, and I've collaborated before with Ma Sheen Win. She's a local poet, and she's written 7 poems in response to 7 of the images. And so she's going to be in the book, her poems. And then we're going to do a reading where she's going to read the poems and other poems as part of the show, but I'll be putting all that out. But before that, and why I'm trying to get everything done, we're going to go, if everything goes well and we don't test positive, we're going to the Venice Biennale in September. And then we're going to Rome for a week, and our granddaughter will be studying there, but we just love poking around in Rome. So that's my first international trip. I mean, the only other plane I've been on was to New York right before Omicron variant. I mean, I don't go anywhere. And the last thing I did was we finished a remodel or a little addition to our house on the Russian River. So that was like another big project that I finally completed. That's what I've been doing.
Nice. A lot.
With
What-
the cast.
What are your dates at the Venice Biennale? I forgot to mention I'm going too.
Oh, we're gonna be
September.
there from the, we get we get there on the 14th, so it'll be 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th.
Oh, I'm gonna miss you. I'll be there on the 21st through the 27th.
Yeah.
Oh, well, happy travels.
Well, let's hope we don't, we don't test positive. I'm trying to be super careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see that it's just 1 minute left, and I don't want to interrupt Priscilla. So let's click out and then come back in, and we'll start up with Priscilla then. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to depart. My Paxlovid has arrived.
Oh, yay.
I'm sorry to miss the last 2. I really wanted to hear from you, but
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to.
I'm gonna go deal with stuff.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice
Take
to
care.
see you.